What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about you're always in the back of her mind. Now, this can go a couple ways, and I'm going to get into the different topics and the different levels of how this thought really came to my mind and how it always operates whenever you leave that impact. So I was watching the TikTok the other day. The TikTok was, even though I'm in a relationship, I still think about him. Usually I would do a reaction video, but I couldn't find it after I seen it, so I just decided I would just make this video. But I saw a video and that's what it said, and it really had me thinking, like, you could really be in a relationship and they're still thinking about their old partner. They still have unhealed trauma. They still have unhealed things that they haven't overcome that makes them still think about that person. Or you have qualities that resort to them that make them think about the other person. Does that make sense? So it just had me thinking, I was like, they always have them on their mind. And this doesn't just have to be for guys. It doesn't have to just be for girls, because, you know, guys do it too. Like, oh man, I miss when blank would do this and she does this, but she doesn't do it as good as this other person. Or, man, whenever he opens up my door, he only does it every now and then compared to the other guy that would always open up my door and tell me not to touch the door. Just certain things that like slowly come up that they're like, I'm thinking about the other person, right? And I realized that whenever you leave that imprint on a person, that person will always have some type of reason to think about you. You know what I'm saying? Something that you liked, boom. Like for me, it's Spider-Man. So if a person knows me well enough, they see Spider-Man, they're like, oh, Elijah, right? It just snaps. If you love football, they see your favorite football team, they're like, ooh, you, right? Something that resonates with you. And so whenever you leave that imprint, just know that they always will think about you. And I realized that, like, in the back of their heads, they're like, man, I really miss that person. Even if I don't like them, even though we're not in a relationship, even though we don't talk, like, you're always in the back of their head. And it's like, how do you I wouldn't even say overcome, but like be okay with that, you know, that back thought process, right? I don't know if there really is a way, to be honest with you. I don't know if there's a way to, because it's not like they're going to tell you like, oh man, I just looked at Spider-Man, I thought about my ex. Like, no one's going to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to tell you that, but you're also going to have moments when you see something, you think about something, and it's going to resonate. And I just recognize that whenever you leave that imprint or that impact on a person, they will always think about you. And you always want to make sure that it's the right impact, because if you don't, then they're always looking at you in that negative light. They're always looking at you as like, I'm glad I'm not talking to that person. I'm glad I'm not in their life. I'm glad that we're not interacting no more. I'm glad that we're out of that relationship. It was too toxic, because when this other thing happened, it reminds me of them, but now it's like traumatic, right? It's that negative side. But leaving an imprint on a person has probably the biggest impact that a person can have. I ain't gonna lie, like, getting to a point where you're okay with not thinking about that person is okay. Like, you will see something, it'll briefly come up, and then you just move past it, right? Some people, they can do that. Other people, they sit there, they see that thing, they think about it, and then they sit there and they start reminiscing. You start thinking about what times used to be like, why we don't talk anymore, why, you know, things are the way that they are. And you sit there, you kind of go into this whole spiraling moment. You got to be careful of that, especially if you're in another relationship, or if you're talking to someone else, or you're just trying to go through that healing process, because you will constantly find yourself going in that spiral. You will constantly find yourself going in this position where, you know, you go back to the previous and the past when you're trying to focus on what's ahead of you. The reason that this rear view mirror is a lot smaller than the main window is because you need to be focusing on the future and what's ahead of you more than the past. You can look at it, you can glance at it, see what's behind you, see if you're about to get rear-ended, or see what cars are behind you. You know, those are the past, those are the memories. Even your side mirrors, it's like, okay, you can look at those are smaller though, compared to the main mirror. Having to focus on the future and what's in front of you was key. And I think that what a lot of people do is, when you're in a place of healing, or even if you're trying to go through this seasonal change or whatever, then you're so focused on just looking at the rear view mirror that if you're looking just at the rear view mirror, you're missing what's in front of you. So that means you may hit the car in front of you. That means that you may pass the red light that you weren't supposed to go past. It just puts you more at danger because you're not focusing on what's ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? Putting yourself in that position doesn't give you any type of peace. It puts you in a position where you're like, man, you know, you take that glance and now you're stuck looking at it because you're focused on the past. You was looking at your future, something came up, you're looking at the mirror, now you're focused on the past, right? We got to be cautious. You gotta be cautious. And I find myself doing this sometimes too, you know, like little stuff will trigger me to think about certain things or certain people. And it's like, if you just look at it and you are reminiscing down that spiral, you will end up hurting yourself even more. You'll put yourself in a position where you're like, do I want to go back and talk to that person, or do I want to rekindle this and that? Do I want to get back in this situation, or like what's the best thing that I need to do? Or even if you're in a relationship and you're like, well, I'm past them, I know we're not gonna be together, but like you're thinking about that while you're in a relationship. So now I would want to almost say it's unfair to your partner, because you're sitting there and you're still spiraling with things and thoughts that you haven't overcome yet, right? And to go kind of on the relationship side of it, where you're like that unhealed, I think that no one is 100% healed from everything. That's why people still go to therapy. That's why you kind of attack one topic at a time. You're constantly having these different moments where you're going to have something that triggers you. And it's like, how do you manage that and maneuver that in a relationship? Is this a person you can trust to tell stuff to? Is this a person that it's about them? Is it in a situation where, you know, if I tell them, will they throw it back in my face? You know, how vulnerable can I really be in this moment? Like, when it comes to relationships, there's so many different factors to think about. But this video isn't about relationships, so I'll do a separate video on that. But I will say, when you're healing and you're going through this process of, you know, being the back thought of someone else's mind, or someone else is being the back thought of yours, just understand the impacts and the imprint that they left on you, for whatever that is. And understand, why is that the imprint? Again, it could be something very small, like that just makes me think of them, or it could be a situation where it's like they would do this for me, or it could be a negative connotation. It's like, man, you know, they used to do this to me, or something like that, right? But understand yourself to understand what type of impact and what type of, you know, that imprint that I'm talking about, that person has left on you. And if it's for the better, you know, if it's for a good cause, then hopefully that just, you know, it starts to wear off. You know, you might look at it, you might glance at it, boom. Okay, next topic, you know. And hopefully if it's negative, you learn how to heal from that. That you find someone that actually knows how to help you with that healing process. So I don't know. This video didn't really have any type of like true lesson to it. But I feel like a lot of people don't think about that back thought, that impact, or that, you know, imprint of a person that they always think about. And I just wanted to make this video because some people just need awareness. And you never really like comprehend it until you're in it. And then it's like, oh yeah, like I do always think about that. I do always think about this person. So how do I overcome that? You just got to understand the impact that they had on you, and how long you're going to let them have that impact on you. You know, focus on what's in front of you. These rear view and the side view mirrors are smaller for a reason. So that being said, y'all, it's really all I got for you on this video. Tough. That being said, y'all, it's really all I got for you on this video. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram, King Malone, and I will catch y'all in the next video. I'm gone.